Happy New Year, folks, and welcome to another edition of Hashtag AskGSM, the weekly Monday mailbag video where I answer your questions that you sent in from Facebook and Twitter. There's a lot of questions to get to today, hoping to get to all of them. So without further ado, let's get started. The first set of questions are from Facebook. So the first question comes from Andre G. What do you think of a Rey Mysterio versus Mystico versus Ultimo Dragon match at WrestleMania 30? I didn't even know Ultimo Dragon was still wrestling. I had to go back and look that up. Apparently he still is. He's from WCW. He was in WWE for a short while in 2003-04. So I don't think it'd be possible. The chances of this match happening with the involvement of Ultimo Dragon are very unlikely. In a dream match scenario, absolutely, I would love to see it. But realistically, Mysterio versus Mystico would be a great matchup, a matchup that we've been wanting to see at WrestleMania for years now, dating back as early as WrestleMania 28 2 years ago. We didn't get it that year. We didn't get it at WrestleMania 29. I wanted to see it this year, but with Mystico gradually being written out of WWE storylines, I don't think it's at all possible. I think it's still possible you might be able to see Rey Mysterio versus Sin Cara, but Mystico won't be underneath the mask. It'll be Hunico instead. So that's a nice consolation prize, but unfortunately it looks like we might never get Mystico versus Rey Mysterio if Mystico indeed does leave the company in the near future. Ross S. asked, what old WWE pay-per-view do you think should return and why? No doubt about it, King of the Ring. The last pay-per-view, I believe, was in 2002 when Brock Lesnar won the tournament, and it has been seen since. I think it'd be perfect. The tournament itself should be brought back, but the pay-per-view I think would be great. What was the June pay-per-view last year? Payback was great, so I don't know if maybe you move Payback to another month or something like that. That was a surprisingly great show. Battleground was garbage, so maybe you get rid of Battleground. This should just lessen the number of pay-per-views in general, but bringing back King of the Ring I think would be excellent, and just bringing back the tournament in general would be amazing. Jared J. asked, do you see Big E, Langston, and or Roman Reigns holding the WWE title within the next 2 years? I'm going to have to say yes on that one, because obviously WWE officials are very high on Roman Reigns. He looks to be breaking out of the Shield in the next few months or so, maybe in the next few weeks or so. We're not really sure. He looks to be like the next breakout babyface. He has WWE champion written all over him. If he doesn't win the WWE title in the next few years, I'd be very surprised. So I do see that happening. Big E Langston, I would hope so as well, because he's improved immensely too since his time in NXT. On the mic, he's still got a little kinks to work out on the mic, but even still in the ring, he's entertaining. His title run with the Intercontinental Championship has been good. So I hope to see him in the main event scene in the next few years or so. So hopefully the IC title run builds him up to that point. He's already been featured in main events with the likes of Dolph Ziggler, John Cena, CM Punk, The Shield. So I would like to see him as a WWE title contender in the next few years or so. And he could very well become the first black African-American WWE champion in history. I don't count The Rock, even though he's Samoan. Batista, he's Filipino. I don't count him either. And to my knowledge, there has never been an African-American WWE champion, so Big E Langston could very well be the first person. Zach D asked, if you had to say there was a new SmackDown 6, who would you say it was? Now, I asked him who the SmackDown 6 was because I wasn't really sure what he was referring to. He was saying Eddie Guerrero, Chavo, Benoit Angle, the SmackDown 6, the superstars that SmackDown was built around in the Ruthless Aggression era about 10 years ago when SmackDown was, at its wrestling peak. So my SmackDown 6, I would have to say, are Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, Big E Langston, The Shield I count as one, the Wyatt family I count as one, and the Rhodes brothers I count as one. It's kind of hard to say nowadays because the brand extension no longer exists, and everyone appears on both shows, on both Raw and SmackDown, so it's kind of hard to say. But even still, I think Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan would be nowhere near he's at right now had he not been featured on SmackDown as prominently as he was in 2011, 2012, last year in 2013. He and Orton had a lot of great matches on SmackDown last year. Daniel Bryan's had a lot of great matches against the Shield, so that's why I think those three factions / superstars are involved in the SmackDown 6 for me. Big E Langston has had a lot of good matches on SmackDown. I think he's only going to improve if given more time to shine on SmackDown. The Wyatt family has really taken hostage on SmackDown as well, no pun intended. They've had a lot of good matches, specifically Luke Harper and Eric Rowan with their opponents. Like I just said before, their WWE Tag Team title opponents from this past Friday night. The Rhodes brothers, Goldust and Cody Rhodes, who have had a lot to do with the success of SmackDown in the last few months with their great matches just week in and week out. Nathan D asked, when will Cesaro be a main eventer and when will Brodus Clay be one too? Cesaro, I would have to say he's going to be a main eventer at some point. John Cena is obviously very high on him, as is CM Punk, so there's no secrets about that. I would suspect him holding the world title in the next few years, or at least contending for the world championship. He's very entertaining in the ring. His mic skills are improving. He's got a character. He's over. He's going to be a babyface at some point. I think he's better suited as a heel, but he's getting over with the fans, so I think he's going to be a babyface at some point. So maybe in the next few years. Brodus Clay, I'm not really sure. I thought he was a main eventer at some point a couple years ago when he was first heel. Now he's going back heel. He could be a main event star. I don't see him as a WWE World Champion, but I do see him as an upper mid-card guy, so hopefully they start booking him that way instead of having him job out to Xavier Woods and R-Truth every week in Tensai. So hopefully when that whole garbage feud is over with, he can start contending for the mid-card championship and hopefully start feuding with the likes of Cena and Punk if he gets over as a monster heel. are asked a number of questions, so I'll try to get through as many of them as I can as possible. Do you like the idea of no faces and no heels? It's kind of a split decision for me. I don't think it would work in an ideal world because fans wouldn't really know who they should be cheering for. But then again, if you let the fans dictate who they should be cheering for, maybe it could allow for a little more freedom. Personally, I like guys like CM Punk, The Miz, and others in the roles of a tweener. But then it wouldn't be special if someone ever turned heel or turned face because it could get very confusing storyline-wise. So I think getting rid of the idea of no faces and no heels is kind of confusing, and it would get very, very sloppy and a cluster F very, very quickly. Do you think WWE planned out the Shield's breakup since the beginning of the year with Dean Ambrose holding the title for an extensive period of time? I don't think so. We knew from the beginning that the Shield was going to break up because all three of these guys have very successful careers as single stars someday. I don't think it was planned from the beginning that it was going to be happening around this time. I don't think Ambrose's title reign has anything to do with it. I think they just kept the title on him because they have no one else better to put it on, and they haven't even had him defend it anyway, so it's not like he's been a very successful champion, Dean Ambrose has been. But even still, I don't think that's been the whole purpose. I don't know if the plan is for him versus Roman Reigns for the US title at WrestleMania or Extreme Rules or what. But no, I don't think it was planned from the beginning. Remember the rumors of management wanting the Wyatt family as a face stable? Do you see them recruiting Daniel Bryan the plan for this? That's a very good question. I don't think so. I think they should stay heel. If anything, like I said in many videos in the past, if they do end up going with a Wyatt family versus a Shield match at WrestleMania, if you don't keep it if you don't keep it heel versus heel, then you turn the Shield face because they've been around longer, and the Wyatt family is still relatively fresh. They can be a breakout face group at some point. They proved that down in NXT. Their last appearance there back in July or August, I think it was. They had a great promo that closed out their time in NXT. So it's very obvious that they could be a babyface group at some point, just not so soon. I think Daniel Bryan is just going to be using the Wyatt family and will end up turning on them at some point because I think the chances are likelier that Daniel Bryan turns heel rather than the Wyatt family turning face. Do you think Ryback can ever be over again? Possibly. I never say never in pro wrestling, but maybe if they turn him back face, give him back a Stevie Moore gimmick, it's possible, but right now, probably not as a heel because they've just buried this guy to no end over the last year. What are your thoughts on the fact that none of the WrestleMania main events are even planned out? I think that's a good thing because unlike past years, we don't know what the main event matches for WrestleMania are. We don't know what the main event matches are being planned. Maybe WWE Creative already has this planned out and the Dirt Sheets are just lying to us per usual. So we don't really know for sure. But I do like the fact that the card is unpredictable this year and that we don't really have any matches set in stone, so we don't know what to expect. So I like that feeling of uncertainty going to WrestleMania. Now time for the Twitter questions. At Corey Strassman asked, thoughts on there being no Elimination Chamber match at Elimination Chamber pay-per-view? That hasn't been set in stone unless you've been reading something that I haven't. I don't think they've been canceling the Elimination Chamber matches at the show. That'd be kind of pointless because that's the whole name of the show. So hopefully they have a match next year that actually means something because last year there was a number 1 contenders match for the world title inside the Elimination Chamber, and that was it. So they didn't have any title matches inside the chamber. They didn't have any Raw Chamber matches or anything. So hopefully that changes next year with a match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship inside the chamber, maybe including the likes of Punk, Bryan, Cena, Orton, Brock, and Batista, which was rumored, which would be amazing. That's a dream Elimination Chamber matchup. But only time will tell. But I don't see the Elimination Chamber match being getting rid of on the pay-per-view itself come next February. At Lionheart asked, is Daniel Bryan's momentum being killed by joining the Wyatt family? Very good question. I don't think so. It kind of depends on how they booked it. It's only been a week, so it's kind of hard to tell at this point. I don't think maybe having him turn full-fledged heel would be a mistake because he's one of the most over guys in the company. I just honestly think it's all a matter of Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatt family, kind of using them to have them eliminate a lot of people in the Royal Rumble, only for Daniel Bryan to turn on them and win the Rumble. So hopefully that is actually the scenario that they end up going with. Only time will tell, but I don't think that they're going to have Daniel Bryan go full-fledged heel because that would be a mistake. And hopefully they can drag this out to the point where it actually means something. Eric Cohen asked, in your opinion, what is the greatest WrestleMania match of all time? Extremely difficult question. I can do a whole video on this. But obviously there's a lot of candidates. Stone Cold versus The Rock from WrestleMania 17 for the WWF Championship. Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho from WrestleMania 19. It depends on how you define greatest, like in terms of wrestling or storyline, because the most memorable match of all time would have to be Hulk Hogan versus Andre from WrestleMania 3. So it's really, really hard to say, but for right now, I would have to go with either Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker from WrestleMania 25, which I think it's my vote, or Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock from WrestleMania 17. JJF Tweets asked, with clean losses to Orton, Shield, and Bryan last year, is 2014 the year John Cena loses his status as a face of the WWE? No, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be retiring anytime soon. I don't think he's going to be losing his status as the face of WWE anytime soon. Because remember, he went all 2012 long without having won the WWE or World Heavyweight Championship, yet he was still at the top of the card anyway. So hopefully they're just testing the waters for a time in WWE when there is no John Cena. I would like to say that's the case, but I don't think he's going to be stopped being the face of WWE for a long time to come. David Brailsford asked, who do you think is an underdog to win the Royal Rumble? I would say Daniel Bryan or CM Punk, but those are kind of the odds-on favorites right now, so they're not really an underdog. If anything, I would say Dolph Ziggler. That'd be a hell of a surprise after months and months and months of losing. He automatically just randomly wins the Royal Rumble. I think that'd be amazing. That'd be quite the underdog story for sure. I don't see that happening, but he is an underdog. But my odds-on favorites right now, as I said in my last #AskGSM video, are CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Say hey, Josh Day asked, what do you expect the long-term implications of Lesnar return being? Obviously, he's going to be going for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I'm glad to see him back in WWE storylines earlier than anyone expected him to. I see him possibly winning the WWE World title, which would be pretty cool, and having him feud with Batista come WrestleMania. I think that's probably the most likely scenario right now. But aside from that, he's only going to be back until WrestleMania, so I think the long-term implications are that the WWE World title match will be more interesting between Cena and Orton at the Royal Rumble, as well as the Royal Rumble matchup itself, because the winner of that matchup could be possibly challenging Brock Lesnar for the title at WrestleMania, which is huge. And the final question comes from 2000 Awesome. He asked, do you see Daniel Bryan turning on the Wyatt family at the Royal Rumble, or do you think it's too soon? I just kind of answered this before, but I do see the Wyatt family turning on I see Bryan turning on the Wyatt family at the Royal Rumble, so he can win the Royal Rumble. I don't think it's too soon. Maybe you drag it out into Elimination Chamber, and you have Bryan versus the Wyatt family at the Elimination Chamber, or Bryan versus Bray Wyatt at that pay-per-view, or you even drag it out till WrestleMania, and you do the Wyatt family versus Daniel Bryan, Cena, and there was a report saying that Hulk Hogan could tag with them. I don't want to see Bryan stay with the Wyatt family for an extended period of time. Don't do it too soon as far as like tonight on Raw or next week. At least drag it out into the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. That's going to close it out for this week's #AskGSM video. I really appreciate all you guys sending in questions. It means a lot. If you want to send in a question, make sure to tweet me on Twitter at WrestleRant with the #AskGSM. And send me a comment on Facebook on my wall. Just post it at GrahamGSM Matthews. Like the page as well. All support is greatly appreciated. That's going to do it for this week's video, guys. Once again, I really appreciate you viewing. I'll be back next week with a whole new set of questions. Enjoy old school Raw tonight. And I'll see you next week. This is GSM signing out, guys.